How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into 14P Fantasy. I am your host, Justin Wright. Today, we are talking Dynasty stashes, specifically the wide receiver position. If you missed our other videos talking stashes, we got a running back specific video that is out there, as well as just a general, Dynasty stash video with some running backs, some wide receivers, and tight ends in there. So check both of those out. Before we get into it, we got 3 names for you. Before we do, though, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications, like the video, drop questions, comments, all that kind of stuff. So you don't, so if you have questions, we will get to them. We will answer them. If you have league specific things, we'll touch on all of it for you. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel and let's get into it. Number 1 on our list is Jalen Guyton. And Jalen Guyton right now, 24 years old, on his final year in LA. He's a restricted free agent coming up. And honestly, I think the Chargers end up retaining him. I don't think anybody's going to go out there and pay a crazy price for Jalen Guyton. If he does land outside the Chargers and doesn't get into a great spot, you can go ahead and cut him, in March. That's fine. But for now, I want to keep him on the roster because Mike Williams is a free agent. And he is a much bigger wild card, obviously, to stay with the Chargers. If Mike Williams is out of the picture, Jalen Guyton as a big play threat becomes a lot more interesting. We just saw last week what happens when he gets those chances and his rapport with Justin Herbert. That was a frozen rope, 60 yards in the air is a thing of beauty. Jalen Guyton is never going to be, though, a superstar fantasy wide receiver, and that's fine. But there is value in having a good flex option, a big boom or bust type of player on your bench. And currently, he's on waivers in over 50% of Dynasty leagues on Sleeper. So he's not a super deep league ad, but if he's available, I'm gladly going to scoop him up in hopes that he sticks with the Chargers. Maybe Mike Williams leaves, and Jalen Guyton has an expanded role as far as, the deep play goes, which, again, that is where he has thrived. And on top of it, Keenan Allen's getting older. That things are changing in that offense. So Jalen Guyton definitely has some value, some interesting value moving forward. And on the flip side, Josh Palmer also needs to be rostered. I mean, again, 3rd round rookie. They spent up on him in the draft. Was kind of a surprise pick, but he played well. With Keenan Allen out, he played well. And again, if Mike Williams leaves, there is a hole vacated in this offense that may or may not be filled in free agency. But if it's not, it's going to be between Guyton and Josh Palmer. And I'll gladly roster both. I want the wide receiver too that is tied to Justin Herbert. And if it means I got to burn 2 roster spots to figure out who it might be, I'm okay doing that. So if, again, Josh Palmer's rostered in about 60% of leagues, so a little bit more owned, a little bit less likely to find him on waivers, but he's interesting. He's obviously with the Chargers through 2025 at least. Keenan Allen may not be there at the end of that stretch. Josh Palmer has a chance, if Williams leaves, to establish himself. It's very rare you're going to find stash wide receivers that have immediate value, guaranteed, because if it was obvious, all of these guys would be 100% rostered. So Josh Palmer, could he pay off? Absolutely. Could he bust? 100%. It just, Mike Williams, his landing spot, if he leaves or not, dictates, the next few years of value for Josh Palmer specifically. And then, like we talked about, Jalen Guyton. Is Josh Palmer, destined for fantasy superstardom? We do not know. But the fact that he was a 3rd round pick still makes him enticing. He has shown some flashes in his rookie year, which is a huge piece of this, guys. So again, not a locked and loaded guarantee starter, but he could be a nice bench piece moving forward in Dynasty. All right, and to close us out, in this one, Tyler Johnson, he's on our general stash video, but I have to bring him up again. Tyler Johnson could be stepping into an enormous role next season. It does not seem like Antonio Brown is coming back because of the fake vaccination card. I don't think he gets re-signed as much as Brady loves him. I don't know. He may just flat out retire. And then the other big piece is Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is on the franchise tag right now. I think he has gone in free agency. Where he lands, I do not know. I hope Chicago, as a Bears fan, that would be awesome. Give Justin Fields somebody other than Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney, please God. But Tyler Johnson, the camp reports every season, they just rave about Tyler Johnson. And usually by year 2, if you have not flashed even a little bit, I'm not really interested in you. Tyler Johnson's in a unique spot where I don't expect him to do a ton in this offense because obviously he's fighting with Gronk, AB, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans for touches. As this receiver room, these pass catchers kind of start to fade out, Tyler Johnson could rise to the top here and be, the 1B or at least the wide receiver 2 next season. And if you're tied to Tom Brady, I want you on my team. So Tyler Johnson, he's available in about 60% of leagues. He needs to be 100% owned, at least until we figure out if Chris Godwin's coming back or not. If Godwin's not coming back, Tyler Johnson is going to skyrocket in value. And it's like finding free gold, or it's finding like a $20 bill on the street. And that's how he's going to be treated in Dynasty. So Tyler Johnson, if he's out there, scoop him up, even trade for him right now before we learn of Godwin's, 2022 status and the team he's going to be rostered on. All right, guys, that's all we have for you. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, drop questions, comments. If you got any other deep names that you want us to touch on or just talk about, drop it below. We'll answer them. Maybe we'll make a video on them. All right, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.